I'm your trainer here. So I'll be giving you a demo on what Scrum Master is. Then I'll talk about who can become Scrum Masters, how do you become a Scrum Master, and at what stage in your career can you become a Scrum Master. And I hold 15 plus years of professional IT work experience. And for the past 5 years, I'm working as a senior Scrum Master. And I work with various domains. I worked with banking domain, major clients in banking. Then I worked with major clients in telecom. Then HLS, that's called as healthcare life sciences. And I'm a certified Scrum Master and a trained project management professional, PMP. And also there's another certification called ITILV3. So that's about me. And once the session is done, I'll leave the the meeting open for people to ask questions so that they can have their questions or queries or concerns clarified. Who can become a Scrum Master? How can one become a Scrum Master? Stage in a career. When I talk about career, I talk about both IT and non-IT. Okay. Because people might come back with a question. I come from a teaching background or a sales background or call center or HR background, and how do I do? So at what stage in a career can you become a Scrum Master? So who can become a Scrum Master? Just about anyone can become a Scrum Master without any knowledge in coding. Let's say you are a recruiter or a HR manager or into staffing and recruitment. You want to become a Scrum Master? Yes, you can. Or there's someone who's into non-IT, like into sales and marketing or into real estate. They want to become a Scrum Master. They can become a Scrum Master. So the answer is anyone with the only criteria is to have the extreme basic criteria is have decent communication skill. That's it. You have decent communication skills, you can become. Then how can you become a Scrum Master? Before answering that question, I'll get into this question next. Okay. So at what stage in your career can you become a Scrum Master? To be honest enough, with at least 5 to 6 years of professional work experience. The reason for 5 to 6 years of professional work experience, it can be anything, teaching, HR, non-IT, or call centers, or into sales and marketing, banking, anything, or even into IT, but into a different field, manual testing, or business analyst, anyone. The reason for 5 to 6 years of experience one needs to have is because the person would obtain certain amount of maturity in terms of work process and work ethics. They would understand how leadership works. They would understand how management works. They would understand how to handle a team at that stage of their career. You can't take someone as a fresher and train them on Scrum Master. Yes, you can train them. You can put them at work, but they wouldn't understand certain strategies, certain frameworks, certain policies in terms of leadership, mindset. They would not understand. The reason with someone with 4 to 5 years experience, they would work with leaders, project managers, regional managers, zonal managers, HR managers, whoever it is at leadership level. They would start working with these set of people. They would understand how the manager's mindset is. How is he talking? How is he acting upon a team? How is he helping the team become successful? They start accumulating and inculcating those habits. And that's when they start getting that level of maturity. Next comes, how can you become a Scrum Master? Simple fact is attend Scrum Master training. Sounds funny, sounds easy, but it is what it is. Attend Scrum Master training. Apart from this, also have basics of something called as SDLC. That's nothing but software development life cycle. I'll come to what SDLC is later. To answer the gentleman's question, how is the market for Scrum Master right now? Honestly, market is not doing good. However, there is good news. Okay. So don't get boggled down or don't get up. The market is good for people with 5 to 9 to 10 years of experienced folks. The market is doing extremely good. The salary part may be a little less than compared to what last year and the previous year was, but still the market is open. The market is doing a wonderful job. For 10 to 15 plus years of experience folk, the market is going to open from April second week. So even you don't have to worry about it. People with 10-15 years of experience for transitioning or who want to learn and get into Scrum Master, the market is going to open from April second week. And this market that I've told you right now is only specific to India, not global. And Scrum Master market today you might be in India, tomorrow you might move to Canada, Australia, US, UK, or any of the European countries. Or you might ask me, what is the market there in those countries or abroad? The answer is the same. The market is fantastic across. The market is doing good. And there is a demand for Scrum Masters across industries. Who can become a Scrum Master? What stage can they become? How can they become? And how is the market trend right now? Are your questions answered, or you still have any other questions before we can proceed with a demo on it?
Excuse me, sir. You have told that 10 to 15 years, we should have an experience. Do we need to have experience in Scrum Master or any other role that is okay?
Overall experience. See, when I talk about 10 to 15 years, let me clarify on that part. Someone with a person like me, 10 years of experience I have in IT and 5 years in Scrum. Or it can be a combination of 12 years in IT and 3 years in Scrum. That's what I mean. Got it? Or again, non-IT and then transitioning to IT, maybe 8-9 years in IT, non-IT and then transitioning to Scrum. So this aspect, it comes the institute management will guide you on how the resumes can be prepared in accordance to that demand when we reach that stage. But to answer your question right now, yes, it's a combination of 10 years and 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. You combine and then do it. It's not just one Scrum Master experience for the entirety of 10 years or 15 years. No.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Let's go ahead. So how about if he is doing with the 2 to 3 years in particularly managing level, so after that he's gone with the businesses. So can you go with this? Doing the Scrum Master.
Absolutely. So you're talking about someone like, let's say, a person like maybe I'll call him Surya. Surya worked for 2-3 years in any profession. Then he started his own business and took care of his business for, let's say, 3 years or 3.5 years. And now, for whatever reason, he wants to get back into job. So your question is, can Surya learn Scrum Master and get into an opportunity, right? Is that what your question was?
Yes, sir. Exactly. That's the one.
Definitely you can. I'll give you my own example.
Okay.
I started my career in 2003. Until 2013, I was working. 2013 to 2017, for certain reasons, I had a career gap. I didn't work. 2017 to 2018 to 19 around, I worked in staffing and recruitment and operations and leadership. I set up staffing companies in US. I made them successful. I set up staffing companies here in India, made them successful for friends. Then in early 2019, I started my career into Scrum Master. So this more or less relates to your kind of situation here. I did have the IT experience until 2012-13, but I had a gap from 2017. I was into the staffing and recruitment and operations, and later 2019 I got into Scrum Master. Then this should perfectly sum up the situation or the question that you asked for.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks so much for that.
No worries. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of scenarios. So any question that you guys ask, I'll try to give you a real-time example itself. I wouldn't beat around the bush. I wouldn't give you certain random answers, but practical, realistic, real-time answers is what I'll give you. Okay. We'll start with, before we even start with what Scrum Master is, I would want people to understand what SDLC is. How many people with basic computer education here? I really don't know how many people are there, but randomly I'm asking this question, so how many are from a computer background or a non-IT background? You just can say maybe IT, non-IT, that will help me.
Yeah, I'm in IT.
Okay.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, myself Shafi. Basically, I studied, BSc Computer Science, but I'm not into IT. But I know the meaning of SDLC, System Development Lifecycle.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hello,
I'm in IT too.
hello. I'm not in IT, from non-IT background.
That's totally fine.
Since I'm in aerospace, then I'm like a product designer right now. So even I'm like it sounds like a non-IT itself.
Okay. But that's way more exciting for people like us.
Hi, good evening. This is Ram here, non-IT.
Okay. So, see, I just divided into what it is. See, SDLC from a IT side, it's called as software development lifecycle. What happens here is any product or a project that you define or you try to create or work on has to follow certain step-by-step processes. Extremely down-to-earth, simple example I'll give is, you're trying to build a house. So what do you do when you want to build a house? You identify land. That is step one, right? Right. Step two, you identify what kind of a house do you want to build. Whether is it a standalone building, is it a G+1 or G+2, or do you want to build a 5-story apartment, 5-floored apartment, or a duplex, triplex, or you just want to build a small 1-bedroom hall kitchen and then the rest of the land keep it as a park or a lawn? Depends on you. That is step two. Step three, what do? You do something called as start building the house. Similarly, in the IT or the software industry, back in the days, people felt the need to streamline process for creating projects or products. And that process was called as software development life cycle. Similarly, like a house, for a house, what do you need is, I'll give you both IT and non-IT examples. It's easy for you to understand. Something called as requirement analysis is something that we do in IT. Similarly, the same requirement analysis, if you look at, from a real estate perspective, what are you doing? You're sitting with the architect. Architect talks to you on what kind of a house you want, how many bedrooms do you want, whether you want a lift or not. If it's apartment, do you need a lift or not? Then do you need car parking space? Then what kind of fitments you want? What kind of wood you want? The architect would typically sit down with you and gather as much as information and, write it down, right? If you go try to buy a house or buy a car, this is what happens. Even for a car, when you go to a car expert, he will ask you, what is your budget? What is your purpose of buying a car? What kind of a car do you want? You want a hatchback, sedan, SUV, full-size SUV? Or what is it? Then what is your purpose? Do you go on long trips or it's only for office to house commute? Do you want diesel car or petrol or electric? How many people will be driving the car? There would be these car experts who would ask you this set of questions. Similarly, for real estate also, you have set of questions that are asked. In IT, let's take, we're planning to build a platform or a product similar to WhatsApp. Okay. So there also, you do requirement analysis or gathering. You gather as much as information. What technology should we use? What are the features in WhatsApp? What are the look and feel? How should WhatsApp look? Should it be black in color, blue color, green color? Can we change colors? Do we have customization, avatars? Can we have 3D or video avatars? Right now, we only have static avatars. So can we create graphics or GIFs for avatars? So many features people find out. That is called as requirement analysis. Next comes something called as system design. In system design, from a real estate perspective, once the architect gathers all the information, if I'm sure everyone would have seen, I've gone to real estate fairs or I've gone to builders to buy a property. What happens there is they have a 3D model of the property, right? So here, architect, what he would do is he'll also do something called as a blueprint. He will create a blueprint and show you that this is the floor plan for ground floor. This is your kitchen. This is your hall. This is your main entrance, west facing, east facing, whatever. You enter here. Then this is your parking. You have a small lawn where you can play around or put on a swing, whatever it is. You can decorate it as per your requirement. Then next to the kitchen, you have staircase to first floor. First floor, you have again, 2 bedrooms, attached bathrooms or whatever it is. Then third floor, you have a huge sit out area for a home theater system, whatever it is, he would create. This is an example. He'll create a 3D model and show it to you and also give you a blueprint. And if in case your finances are great, you would ask him to create a 3D physical model. If you go to these gated communities or societies, when you get into their offices, they'll have those huge 3D models, right? Showing those small toy cars, showing the street, showing those clubhouses, the buildings and everything. You would have seen those miniature buildings, they might call them as. Similarly, if your budget, your budget is unlimited and you want, a better feel of the kind of property you're buying, the architect will even create a 3D physical model or a miniature model. Then comes, once you agree upon and say proceed to the next level, comes as something implementation part. Here in IT, the same system design part, people talk about what languages should we use, like Java or .NET, or you have Python, whatever. Then comes what database should we use. Is it, Oracle, or is it on the cloud? They look at then what kind of servers, or even for a smaller system, you even use database as email. Everything gets emailed. Then what kind of server? On-premise server or off-premise server or cloud. Now everything is on cloud. We keep hearing those fancy jargons about it is on the cloud. Then we have Amazon Web Services or Google, Microsoft Azure. Sub cloud mein hai. You talk to anyone, any product, anything, people are like, "Hamara software cloud mein hai." Everything is on cloud. So cloud, again, there is a physical space for cloud. It's not somewhere open in the cloud. As one politician back in the days, you would have seen his video. It's a funny video. He says everything on cloud should not be put there because if it rains, the clouds disappear, the data is lost. That's what he tells, So it's not that way. Cloud, again, it's a physical space, but it's not in a physical server right next to you. That's what the intention of the meaning is. Once this is done, an implementation part in a real estate example, they start building the foundation. When we talk about foundation, they dig for the foundation, right? In open land, if you see, they don't start from ground zero. They go ground -1 because you have to put in your foundation, concrete, iron bars, everything. The amount of building that you want to build starts with a greater, stronger foundation. Similarly, in IT, they start coding. You have these Java developers, you have these Python developers, whoever those developers are, they start writing the physical code in order to complete that product or project. That is implementation. Here in real estate, you have those daily laborers or masons who start digging, creating the foundation. They start putting those bars and all with concrete. Then they level it up to the ground. From there, they start building the walls, all 4 walls, 4 corners. Then they start building the first floor ka slab. Once that is done, again, they go one step up. So it is like one step at a time from ground -1 to ground 0 to first floor, second floor, third floor. How many ever floors you wanted, they start building the property. That is called as implementation. Next, once implementation is done, you have your requirement analysis, design, implementation, then something called as testing phase. In software, whatever code or program the developers write, someone has to test it, right? Whether it is working fine or not. It is the duty of the testers to test that software. The similar role you have it in pharma, you have it in maybe even in aerospace, you have it in non-IT, everywhere. People test the product that is being about to get released to mass audience. Even pharma, you have your Dolo 650 or you have your Crocin or paracetamol or Vicks inhaler. Do you think they just make the product and release it for public? They don't do that. They do something called as human trials or trials on humans or animals to see if the product is working fine. If the product is working fine under those tested circumstances, then only they release it to the market. Similarly, in software, the testers, or they call it as, even in across industry, they call it as QA. QA is nothing but quality assurance. Quality assurance team tests the code written by these developers to see the code is working fine or not. You might ask, in real estate, what do we do? How do you test? Because there is no testing. You build the house, you give it, property is, once the possession date is done, we hand it over to the customer. So where is testing in? You might ask, in a real estate part. The testing happens in real estate. If you think smartly, you will get it. All the wiring would be done, right? Then all the sanitary fittings or your pipeline, water pipes, then your tube light, your electrical fittings, everything would be fit, right? Then also, if you see, there's a wooden plank or wooden ruler kind of a thing with mercury in between where they test the level of building, if it's inline or not, if it is aligned or not. That is also one sort of testing in real estate. Whether they even test with doors and windows. If all the doors and windows are opening and closing perfectly, once they are closed, are there any gaps in between or not? They check all that. So this is testing from a real estate part. Whereas in IT, they test with the code, if the code is working fine or not, or if there are any errors or any mistakes that are coming up. That is the duty of the QA team or testing team. Once testing phase is done, there's something called as deployment. In real estate, deployment is nothing but you hand over the property to the respective customer. When we look into apartments and when we buy a flat, what do? The builder says, give me 8 months or 10 months. If it's gated community, it might increase to 2 years time. He'll build, he'll give it to you and say, the date of possession is this, please complete your registration formalities and start your housewarming preparation. India, we have that religious sentiment, so we look into housewarming ceremony and all that. So when he says possession, it is nothing but deployment. He has completed the product for you as per your requirements. He is giving the product to you. It is no more builder's responsibility there. Similarly, in IT, once the product, like let's say same example of what the product is done, they deploy it to mass public. When we talk about mass public, how do they deploy it? WhatsApp, Google Play Store. If ever you have seen any new app that comes up, takes 24 hours of approval from Google Play Store, and then it is available for everyone to download across the globe. Then Apple Play Store, I'm not sure if I said it right, Apple Play Store. Then you have your Windows or Apple OS, of the separate platforms for laptop or desktop users. And it is available everywhere for people to install and use it. So this is where we install and use it. The final stage is called as maintenance. In IT terminology, it is called system maintenance. The gentleman who said who works for aerospace engineering, they also follow the same process. They have to build a product or they have to build a feature or anything in related to aerospace engineering, they follow the same process. People in real estate follow the same process. People in pharma industry follow the same process as well. You have analysis when you create a new feature or a new product or a new design. Then you see how you have to, implement that. Then you start implementing it. Then you look into, you start testing if the feature is working fine or not. Then you deploy it so that mass market can use it. Then comes maintenance. Maintenance is nothing but, let's say WhatsApp. There is one feature in WhatsApp that is extremely useless. Can anyone name it? For the Indian market, one feature is there that we never use it. It is of no use at all. Can you name it? Anyone? Random guess. I've seen so many people on the call here. Come on, at least one. Come up with wild guesses. No one is judging you. Gentleman from aerospace, gentleman from business, gentleman from non-IT, the lady who asked 10 years, 15 years experience. I really don't know your names. I apologize for it. Give me an answer. What is the most useless feature in WhatsApp? Okay, I'll only answer.
Chat lock?
Huh?
Chat lock? Why
No,
would anyone want to lock chat on their... No, actually, I don't know.
Chat log is for tracking.
I don't know.
WhatsApp Pay feature. Have you ever used WhatsApp Pay? When you have
Rarely I use.
and Google Pay or Paytm, have you ever used WhatsApp Pay? जरूरत पड़ा हमको WhatsApp Pay use करने के लिए in India.
I think I just wrote the exact same thing in chat.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. So, yeah, WhatsApp Pay is one of the useless features for the Indian market because we have aggregators like PhonePe, Google Pay, Paytm in the same order. So we don't need to use WhatsApp Pay at all. So WhatsApp has, let's say, system maintenance is nothing but tomorrow you want to make changes. You want to, it's called as additions or removal. For WhatsApp, today they introduced WhatsApp Pay, but tomorrow they feel nobody is using WhatsApp Pay, so this feature is useless. They want to remove it. That is also part of system maintenance. Then again, tomorrow they might say, okay, another interesting question on WhatsApp, and everyone are on WhatsApp from the time they wake up till they sleep, right? There is something called as media sharing in WhatsApp. When I talk about media, you can share pictures to family and friends, right? Yes or no? Can we share pictures or videos to family and friends? Come on, yaar, itna easy सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ मैं.
Yes.
Okay. So, how many pictures or videos can you share at a time? There is a limitation. How many videos or pictures can you share? Any idea? Then
Maybe 30 pictures.
Okay. Next. Another answer?
Nowadays, maybe 100, right?
Okay, 100. Then any other guesses? Okay. So I'll give you the answer. Right? The correct answer is right now 100. Earlier, what they had, it was 5 initially. From 5, it increased to 25. From 25, they feel the need that people are using WhatsApp predominantly. They're using extensively to share pictures, media, documents. So let us increase the limit. So this is also part of system maintenance. They are adding a new value. You are having, it's a added value to the existing product. Similarly, in real estate, you might want to remove, you have the same house with a separate parking lot. You might want to remove the parking lot and convert it to a lawn or convert it to an outdoor sitting area. So you might, remove the entire cement and then start growing, grow grass there and then put a table or, a swing or a round table with chairs where you can enjoy your evening tea, whatever you can do that. Or, a house after 4 years or 5 years, you have to paint your house. So this is all maintenance. Similarly, in IT, when you create a product, you might want to add new features to the existing product or remove certain features from the existing product. That is called a system maintenance. This happens at a cyclic level. It is called, the reason it is called as a life cycle is because it keeps circling around there. Not that once deployment is over, once the software product is released, end of story. No, it doesn't happen there. Again, new feature comes up. People start analyzing. People start designing how that new feature has to be written. What is the logic? What is the code? From there, again, they start writing it. Then again, they start testing it. So this is how software development lifecycle works from a IT side or from a real estate side. Real estate also has similar lifecycle only, but nobody talks about it. No one knows about it. Pharma industry also has a similar process. In any industry to that matter has similar process. Even teaching field has it. Trust me. Staffing, HR people have the same process. Trust me. Everyone has it, but people do not have a name to it. That is the problem. Once you start giving such examples, right, real estate to automobile industry, car, or your teaching field, then people connect the dots and say that, you know what, same software development lifecycle ka process, we also use it in our own industry, whether it is aerospace or automobile or pharma, medical, healthcare, or even real estate. It is the same process, people use it. Agree? The gentleman from aerospace, you agree, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
See, it's the same process, names might be different, that's it. Everyone follows the same process. There's no hidden agenda or hidden fact in it. So, when people back in the days, 40, 50 years back, they came up with this life cycle, they felt there should be certain framework that needs to be governed. And one of the framework or model that became extremely successful was back in the day something called as waterfall model. And waterfall model followed the same process called as the requirement analysis. I'll just show you a small diagram for it. Something similar, they have a model. So what waterfall model does is it talks about requirement analysis has to be done and completed, then only can you move to the next stage. So one phase of the model has to be completed, then only it can be shifted to the second phase. In real estate, it follows same waterfall model. If you see, you do analysis, then you get into design, then only you move into implementation, that is start building your property. You don't, while thinking what kind of property you want to build, you don't start digging for a foundation, right? We do not do that, if you notice. So a property or real estate side follows waterfall model. They do the analysis, what kind of property we want to build. They define it, design it, document it. Once the documentation is done, it is signed off, then they move into design. Like, how do you design it? A blueprint is designed. What kind of bricks do we use? Red bricks or cement bricks? Or for high structures, they have the one single wall as a brick, they have it. They attach walls and they build. For high-rise buildings above 25-30 floors in India, they're doing that. Just like 4 walls they bring, they club all those 4 walls, put in cement, concrete, done. Your 4 walls are done. It's that fast. Else, if you think with red bricks, they construct a 35 or a 40 floor apartment, how long it's going to take? Never ending process. So once that design is done, then they get into implementation. Once implementation is done, they test it, the product or the house. Once testing is done, they deploy the software product onto a mass audience where people can buy or people can use. Or if it's a house, they start handing it over to the respective owners. And then again, maintenance is you add a feature, remove a feature, you add an element into your house or remove an element from the house. Whatever you want is called maintenance. It's a ever-going process. So they came with this waterfall model. Then they came with another model called as V model. This is predominantly used in the pharma industry right now. Okay. And not at all used in IT industry. 0% never used in IT industry at the moment. Then every aspect has its own positives and negatives, right? We ourselves as human beings, we have our own positive and negatives. Maybe our ego will not allow us to describe our negatives, but it is a fact. Everyone has positives and negatives. I have my own negatives, I have my own positives. Similarly, everyone. Same way, waterfall model also has its own positive and negatives. I'll give you a classic example for it. In waterfall model, it is used only for smaller projects, like a project that can be completed in a day or 2 days. Let's say someone wants to create a website for their, staffing business. Staffing में क्या होता है? You only have recruitment, then you have staffing, you have services like maybe payroll, or you have, services like contract, then full time, or contract to hire. You might have only these services, nothing more. To build a website only to talk about these, then something called as about us and contact us. Bas, utna hi. So to create a website for this requires very little time or minimal time, right? Maybe 1 to 2 days for anyone. To develop a strategy for this also takes only 1 to 2 days time. What's the same waterfall model से हेसित से हम जाएंगे तो takes only 1 to 2 days. Not even 2 days, 1 day only it will take. And 2 days to complete the entire project, and another 2-3 hours. In maximum 3 to 4 days, you have the product deployed and the website is live, up and running. This is one. So waterfall model can only be used for smaller projects, smaller organizations. It can be used for the limitation. It can be used for the other thing is where resources are readily trained and available and who can start project from day one. And those resources should be trained also on whatever technologies or services that is enabled to complete the project. Another major problem with waterfall model was every phase has to be well documented before completing the second phase, or before completing first phase and moving to second phase. Every phase has to be documented in and out thoroughly. That is one negative because it takes a lot of time to document. The other negative is, in example, let us say requirement analysis may, I'm sure everyone would have bought properties, would have been searching for properties. There is something called as open kitchen concept right now. If you see all apartments are coming with open kitchen. But back in the days, Purana Zamane mein we had kitchen with doors. So you could lock your kitchen also, whether it was apartment or independent house. So in requirement analysis, you might say, you know what, मुझे दरवाजा वाला kitchen चाहिए, so I can separate my kitchen from the hall and close it. However, in implementation part, right before deployment, you might say, I do not want closed kitchen, I want an open kitchen. Can you change the concept? Waterfall model, it is next to impossible. You cannot do it. Because each phase has to be completed, then only process to the next stage. And by this, it means until your system maintenance, you cannot disrupt the system or the flow and move to the previous stage. You cannot do that. That is where it caused a lot of complications, lot of issues in waterfall model when people were working on projects back in the days. So in order to counter that, people thought about a different process that was flexible enough, that was adaptable enough, that had better process, better collaboration. Again here, the same thing, if you take in waterfall model, the biggest another negative is there is zero communication with the real estate, zero communication with builder and the customer. The builder would say it will take 6 months or 2 years. And what would the customer do? Do you think the customer would every week go there, see the property, talk to the developer for updates and come back? He would not do that. Maybe he might do after 6 months. If it is 2.5 years of time that the property gets developed, he'll go once in every 6 months or once in every 3-4 months. He won't go every single day and find out, right? The builder himself will get frustrated. So in waterfall model, there is zero communication between the client and the technical team who is working on the product. So zero communication between customer and the tech team or the organization who's developing the product. So let's say what the customer has given his own requirements, the customer is gone out of picture. And you might end up giving the product after deployment. So typically, classic example I'll give you, okay, I don't like having my sessions on a serious note. I try to add some fun moments. So I'm sure a lot of people would have seen memes, right? Something called as expectation versus reality memes. You all would have seen it and had a laugh and would have shared it across with your friends or co-workers or family, right? Expectation versus reality. So there was a meme on Jaguar car, expectation versus reality. Okay. Like it says the client wanted a Jaguar car. But what did the technical team build? They put a dog on a Maruti 800. So expectation was Jaguar, but this is what the reality is. So this is what exactly happens when the customer gives his inputs and walks away and tries to get the product at the finishing stage. Because there might be communication lost in between. There is no inputs. The customer might have some new ideas, but there is no way where he can communicate with the team. This is the flaw of waterfall model. Got the point, right? So people also come with, budget versus, expectation versus budget, or a lot of memes, but expectation versus reality, this is what it is. In waterfall model, this is how it happens. Because there is no constant communication. So in order to counter that, what team has come up was, they came up with a new framework or a new model called as Agile. In Agile itself means agility or flexibility, then also talks about adaptability. What it means is, here a large product, let us take a large product as, people, you have a customer who wants to build a Mahindra Thar. I'm sure everyone knows what Mahindra Thar is, right? Unless you want me to really show you what Mahindra Thar is. So this is Mahindra Thar as a car. Customer's requirement is to build this car. Okay. So the same process, if we go with Agile framework, what they do is they break this Mahindra Thar product into multiple smaller teams. What those smaller teams can be is, your wheel or your wheel rim manufacturing team, then your tire manufacturing team. Yeah, tire. Then you have seats. Then you have your electronics. Then you have your navigation and entertainment. Entertainment, sorry for the spelling mistake. Then you have your steering. Then you have your brakes. Then you have something called as ADAS that talks about safety levels. And if I missed out any, or your transmission, of course, I did miss out on the most important part. Without that, the car will never function or work. Engine. You have so many teams. There might be, again, your glass or windows or any other doors. You have so many teams that if you see Mahindra Thar as a car, you have so many teams. Lighting again, another. Just know that one team works on the entire car. No, it doesn't happen. What they're doing is they're breaking down that Mahindra Thar as a final product into multiple smaller products, multiple smaller modules, and each team is accomplishing and completing that. While doing this, there is constant communication and collaboration between each team. What communication and collaboration is, again, another thing, within each team and the client as well. Every day the client sits with the team, finds out what is the progress. How is the wheel rim happening? Is it 16-inch, 17-inch, 18-inch or 19-inch rims? How is the rim design? Client might come up with new design. So the team, accepts client requirement and then takes it forward. Then how are the tires shaping up? Are we doing tires for all weather or only off-road? Or are we doing tires only for city driving purpose? What is it? So each team talks to each other. Do you think the wheel rim person, manufacturing person and the tire manufacturing person, if they do not have communication, do you think they can build the right product? They cannot. The tire manufacturer might think he has to build 19-inch wheels, whereas the wheel rim manufacturing team thinks they have to build a 14-inch rims. Do you think a 19-inch rim, a 19-inch tire will fit in a 14-inch rim? No. So there is constant communication here. That is what the USP or the advantage of Agile came in. That they broke down the bigger project into smaller projects or modules. Each team started working and achieving that project or product while communicating and collaborating with other respective teams. And the client also had constant communication. While having constant communication, the most important aspect for client is, the progress. how exactly the work is going on. Is it going on as per your requirement, as per your instructions? If there are any changes, you can ask the team to change those. And that is what agility and flexibility is. The adaptability or flexibility, again, the other major advantage of adaptability is that changes, even at a last stage of change, of the product, if the customer feels that there needs to be change, the team can change it. Example for that is, let's say the same, Mahindra Thar only. While everything is done, the vehicle is ready, tires are put, the transmission is done, automatic, manual, everything is done. The diesel engines are done, 2000cc diesel engine, 1500cc petrol engine, everything is done. Then suddenly the customer felt we are creating a product for the larger audience. I want a product for say, a smaller audience, for people who can afford Mahindra Thar. I want a 900cc engine also to be put in Mahindra Thar. So he tells, you know what, the product is all ready to be launched in market, but in next 2 months, I want a 900cc Mahindra Thar with no four-wheel drive, with no LED headlights, no navigation, nothing, just simple 900cc car, just like a Maruti 800 or Alto. I want Mahindra Thar to be done. Do you think the development team or the manufacturing team will come back and say, you know what, we've already built the product, we're going to ship it, so we cannot do this? They would not do that. They'll say, give us another 10 days or 1 month's time. We have certain 1000cc engines from different Mahindra cars. We will fine tune it or retune it and start, placing them in the newer Mahindra Thar vehicles and create another model or variant. This example is done predominantly by Maruti Suzuki cars, if you notice. They fine tune engines. The same engine you'll have in Desire, you have it in Alto, you have it in Wagoner, you have it in Swift. They just fine tune the engine and then they sell it. Each Maruti car will not have different engines. Similarly, here, even at a last stage of the requirement phase, the team is adapting to client requirement. The same real estate example I give, the property is ready for possession by the customer. Surya is ready to buy the get the property. Builder is ready to give in 10 days. Surya sees the kitchen, same kitchen has doors. So he goes to the builder and says, "Arey yaar, mujhe, I don't want doors. This is the concept I have. I need a small island. I need doors to be removed. The wall needs to be removed, completely eliminated. This is all I want." Do you think the builder will say, you know what, we've completed construction, buy another property with from me only, then I'll construct a kitchen with no doors and open kitchen concept? Do you think the builder would say that? And do you think this guy would have the financial budget taken to buy another property just for open kitchen? No, that doesn't happen in real life scenario, So the builder would say, give me additional 10 or 15 days time. I will create, I'll demolish the wall. I'll remove the doors. It will take another 10 days of delay. You have waited till now, wait for another 10, 15 days. He'll remove everything and repaint it as per customer's requirement and give it. That is what it is called as adaptability to, change the requirement as per customer need, even at a later stage of the developmental or construction process. This is the main core USP of Agile. Once they developed Agile framework, different organizations wanted different processes or frameworks that suits their own, limitation or requirements. So that is when under Agile methodology, they came up with multiple frameworks. The most successful, implemented, widely used, 90 to 95% of the time widely used framework is called as Scrum, which we will talk about. Then called as Kanban. Another one is called as XP or Extreme Programming. Then last is called as APF or Adaptive Project Framework. This XP is only used around 5% across the globe, and so is Adaptive Project Framework. Scrum is used around 98% of the time, and Kanban is used around 90 to 95% of the time. So this is something, if you take, again, to understand this better, let us take Agile as a mold of clay. Okay. You take mold of clay as Agile. Have anyone been to pottery sessions? Nowadays, there are a lot of workshops happening across the world. Pottery sessions. You pay for 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 rupees. They'll teach you how to make the pottery sessions, how to make pots or cups, everything. It's a 2-hour session or a 3-hour session. Now, if you have not, I would recommend you guys go there, learn it. You can learn it as a hobby. You can learn so many facts and things while doing it. So if you take that Agile methodology as a clay mold, the gentleman from aerospace profession, he might feel, I want to make a plane out of this clay. Okay, that's his requirement. He wants to make a plane. I might want to make a mug out of it so that I can have hot, or mug or a cup, so that I can have my hot cup of coffee in the morning. Then the lady who's asked about 10-15 years work experience, she might say, I want to make a salad bowl so that I can make salad in it. Then another gentleman might say, I want to make a water pot so that right now it is summer, it's hot, so I can have cold water in it rather than using artificial stuff like refrigeration and all that. Because clay pot is a natural coolant and it's healthy to drink. So he might say he needs a pot. What is happening here? Clay remains same, right? And what are we doing with the clay? We are molding the clay according to our own requirements. The essence of clay remains same. The purpose of clay remains same. Properties of clay remain same, but we are molding it according to our own flexibility and our own requirements. Similarly, Agile methodology, its framework, its values, its principles, its process, everything remains the same. However, we are molding that methodology into multiple frameworks based on each organizational or each individual's requirement. Out of that, Scrum and Kanban have become extremely popular and widely used framework. Then comes XP, Extreme Programming, and APF, Adaptive Project Framework. These are used extremely less. And during the course of our training, we would talk about predominantly on Scrum and Kanban. Once everyone goes through the enrollment or registration process, we'll talk about these. Now, we'll talk about what Scrum is. We spoke about SDLC, spoke about manufacturing cars or build constructing house and all that. Now, what is the deal of Scrum? That is the reason why we all are here. So, talk about Scrum is what you guys might tell me. Fair enough, I understand. Scrum is nothing but a framework, a set of policies or processes that define on how a team has to work and function in order to ensure the product or project is successful. Now, people might have another question here. Project manager would take care of these roles, right? Then why do we need a Scrum Master? Basic common sense, basic question. Project manager only talks about leading the project, checking the progress of the project, checking resources performance, then client interaction, budgeting or scope, SOW or called as contracts. Then many other aspects project manager looks into. Again, resource ramp up, ramp down, or releasing a resource, adding a new resource, interview process. There is so many things. Whereas Scrum Master really doesn't look into all that. Scrum Master only focuses on if the team is following the Scrum framework and policies or not. If the team is not following, Scrum Master would train the team as a trainer, coach the team as a coach, then mentor the team or individual as a mentor. And certain situations act as a leadership level or at a leadership stage, managerial level. That is the reason now you should have an understanding why I said at least 5-6 years of experience a person should have, because they'll have that maturity because of this aspect here. Because he would be talking with clients, stakeholders, senior management, director level people on how the project is going on, how the team is working, how individuals are working, and are people following agile process or Scrum framework or not, and how can the team follow or or get in line with the Scrum process or framework or agile methodologies. This is what Scrum Master predominantly looks. It is not one single role that the Scrum Master looks at. He has multiple roles or multiple hats. Like at times he is a trainer, at times he is a coach, at times he is a mentor, at times he is a leadership level or at a managerial level. But Scrum Master will never ever have a team that reports to him. This is ground rule. There will be no team that reports to him. All the team that reports to someone is the project manager, because he manages that project. Scrum Master only manages the framework, how team are following the framework. Are they following the processes set under the Scrum guide? Are they following those metrics? Is everything in line? This is what the Scrum Master looks at. This is his predominant role. Again, another important question a lot of people have asked me is, I was part of a podcast 2 weeks back where we spoke about similar topic. Okay, so during the podcast, a lot of people asked me, should a Scrum Master have domain knowledge? Because we had couple people from healthcare industry. They said, we are from healthcare industry, we learn Scrum Master. What if the team puts me in banking domain or they put me in telecom domain? We do not have the domain knowledge. Can we become a Scrum Master still and work? I'm sure even you guys should have this question up your sleeves. The answer is yes. Even if a Scrum Master does not have domain knowledge, he can become a successful Scrum Master. The reason is, when you get into any project or when you get into any organization, you would have a set amount of training that is given to you. So you would be given that domain knowledge training. Next comes, should a Scrum Master have technical knowledge like Java programming or AWS scripts, or someone who can test? So should Scrum Master have technical knowledge? The answer is no. The reason why I tell the answer is no and I'm super confident is because you ask me to write 2 lines of code in Java, I will not be able to do it. Because I was never interested in programming. I never learned any programming language. Even simple scripts I did not learn. If I can be successful, so can anyone in the world can be successful as a Scrum Master. However, excuse me, during your course of your career, if you know what are the basics or terminologies like what is Java, what is .NET, or what is AWS, DevOps, if you know the definition of what these and what they do, that is more than enough. You do not need to know how Java is worked, how is it used, what is a logic, how do you write code, sample code, nothing. You do not need to know any of that. As long as you have basic communication skills, you have decent knowledge, you have decent knowledge on definitions of what each programming language does or what databases are, what is servers, you're good to go to become a Scrum Master. And there are multiple roles in Scrum Master from apart from following the framework and policies and processes, Scrum Master also helps multiple Scrum teams. Scrum Master also helps the organization transition from waterfall to agile. How that is done is, it is called as career transition of a Scrum Master. This question also you guys should have got it. So someone starts as a Scrum Master or junior or senior, whatever it is. Then they would transition to senior Scrum Master. After this, they can go as Agile Coach, where they will train multiple Scrum teams, multiple projects in an organization, like 20 teams, 30 teams, they'll train. They'll coach, they'll train, they'll mentor, they'll transition the entire process from waterfall or any other model into Agile or Scrum model and framework. They will help the team. They'll do the analysis part. They'll guide the team with, brainstorming sessions and all that. That is what Agile Coach does. Once Agile Coach is done, there is another, team called as or role called as Product Owner. Product Owner is someone who has, or someone called as Subject Matter Expert. I'm sure you guys would have heard about Subject Matter Expert or SME. You predominantly use this word in call center industry and the KPO, the BPO side. I'm not sure other industries, or you also use this in the edtech or the education industry. Someone who has profound expertise knowledge on a given subject. Here we talk about domain like banking domain, telecom domain, healthcare domain, insurance domain, whatever that is. So he is the one who sits with the client and talks about what kind of product we need to develop, how do we need to develop the product, should it how can it be different from other products in the market. So product owner is one who has direct client interaction and support. Then while working as a Scrum Master, you would understand how a project manager works, so you might be cross-skilled during the course of your career, so you can even become a project manager as such. Also, another role is you might learn some technology like AWS, DevOps, or Salesforce. You might become a Salesforce Scrum Master who has knowledge on Salesforce and who also has knowledge on Scrum Master. So your career path does not start and end at Scrum Master, has multiple roles, multiple career perspectives that you can get into. From project manager, again, you want to be part of delivery of projects. You can become a delivery manager with your profound experience. So from delivery manager, delivery head, or service delivery manager. So all this gets into leadership level, if you would have noticed, management and leadership level. So your career transition is inevitable. There is career transition, there is career progression across. So you do not have to worry that what if my career is stuck as a Scrum Master? That means you as an individual are doing something wrong. But to become successful, you can definitely transition further. You might ask me, what are you right now at? I'm at a senior Scrum Master. I handle project management and Scrum Master together. I'm planning to become an Agile Coach in the next 6 months or 1 year. That is where my career transition, I'm planning it. I'm taking it forward. So this is what Scrum Master talks about. It is just a framework, just like Six Sigma, Black Belt, Lean. People would have heard about these frameworks. You follow those frameworks. You ensure team follows them. Ensure there are no errors. Everything, the success ratio is high. Similarly, in Scrum also, you follow those. It's a non-technical framework, which is easy to learn, easy to implement, and take it forward. Having said that, you need to have the right attitude. You need to put in the right efforts. So this is what, at short, what Scrum Master is all about. I'm open to questions. So people one at a time, I'll stop sharing my screen for the moment here so that I see who is asking a question so I can address them and answer. I'll open the platform for questions right now. Any questions you have?
Hi, Shiva here.
Yes, Shiva.
Okay. In terms of certification, is it separate certification for two framework, which is Scrum and Kanban?
See, that's a very good question. Okay. Sorry, I should have kept my sharing on. So see, there is the major certification is called as a Certified Scrum Master, which is CSM. Okay. Predominantly, if you have this certification and basic knowledge on Kanban, that is good to go. But to answer your question, yes, Kanban has its own separate certification and Scrum has its own certain separate certification. However, 99% or the organizations will never ask you for a Kanban certification. They'll only ask you for a certification for Scrum.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Sorry, I thought of answering that, but I forgot about it. But thanks for bringing it up, Shiva. Any other questions? Let me see the names of the attendees here. I see Shiva, Anil, Karthik, Rahul, Ram, Sai, Abdul, and Yash. This Rahul, duration fees, please talk to Kalyan here from the institute. They will help you with it. However, from a course structure, I can tell you, I would talk about, again, reiterate on the basics of waterfall model to what Scrum is. Again, there are tools in Scrum called as Jira and Confluence. I'll give you those accesses and I'll give you daily assignments. So even a person who doesn't have any knowledge on what Jira, Confluence, or what Scrum at all is, people like coming from non-IT or housewives or people from the business, they can also understand what those tools are and they can do assignments. That's how easy, custom made I've made my assignments. So every day for the next 14, 15 days or whatever the duration is, you will have assignments. Then you will have the training going on. Then you will have your resume assistants to help you prepare your resumes. Then you will have a lot of, comprehensive, high quality material given. Those in-depth details, Mr. Kalyan will walk you through individually on what all would be shared across, how things would be shared across, what all services we provide as an organization or as an institute or as me as an individual or a trainer. So that's what it is. And I try to keep it, lively, as simple as the examples that I've given, everyone can relate in real time. I try to put such simple examples where people can really understand. Then 5 to 9 years, experience is best range. Absolutely. It is a very good range where you can learn and, transition yourself into a junior Scrum Master. So Rahul, 5 to 9 years, best range? Yes, it is. You can transition to a junior Scrum Master and then progress your career to a Scrum Master, senior Scrum Master, and take it further. Okay. So apart from Rahul, any other questions?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you again. Shiva here. How would you differentiate test manager and Scrum Master?
See, a test manager or a quality assurance, what does he do typically based on your understanding?
Is managing the testing?
Right.
Oh.
He manages testing. Okay. Same. Let me take the same Mahindra Thar example. Okay. To make things for everyone to understand. In Mahindra Thar, what happens? The product is built. Before it is released to market and dealership, what do? They test the vehicle, right?
Yes.
If you have seen, they have this camouflage vehicles. Let me share my screen again and show what camouflage means. They cover the vehicle typically so that no one knows how the vehicle looks. So, Mahindra Thar camouflage. This is what camouflage looks like. They cover the vehicle completely so that no one can really find out how it looks. Okay, what are the features? Internal is camouflage, it's all hidden kind of a thing. So you would have seen these kind of vehicles go around, the reason they put this is they don't want the general public to see how the vehicle looks. So they camouflage it and hide it for the excitement. And what they do, length and breadth of the country, they test this vehicle. Mahindra Thar, its core competence is off-roading, right? So as a test manager, what would you do? You would write test cases or test scenarios for Mahindra Thar. How will you write these test cases or test scenarios? You will say that Mahindra Thar the four-wheel drive should work. Then Mahindra Thar should be able to, a customer should be able to drive Mahindra Thar on road, on rocks, on small mountains, in rivers, in snow, then in mud. Then slush is nothing but snow and water mixed together. It becomes slush. And slush, then rainwater or rain, mud and all that. sticky mud, Mahindra Thar should be able to drive. You create the scenarios. Right?
Okay.
Mahindra Thar is used for these scenarios only, right?
Yeah.
You as a test manager, you come up with these scenarios. What would you do next? You will assign a driver to the vehicle and tell them, test all these, whether it is working or not. Whether if it is working, tell me yes. That in Chinese products you see, right? QC, they have that green color sticker. QC with a tick mark or a check mark saying quality control checked. Similarly, the driver would each parameter, each factor or scenario, he will test it and he will put a check mark next to it. Say it is validated as per customer requirement. We have tested this. It is the functionality is working fine. This is what test manager or test lead does. He will test if the product is working as per the client's requirement or as per the functionality. Start of it, end of it, done. He will create those scenarios. He will create those test cases. There are other aspects that he will do. He will test it, done. Scrum Master will monitor if the product or if the development team, testing team are following Scrum methods or if they are following that specific test criteria methods properly or not, and ensuring that the product is working as per the client requirement. He follows these Scrum processes and ensure that if the team is following Scrum processes, are following proper test criteria, the test results or not. If I'm the Scrum Master and Shiva, you are the test manager, I would follow and see if you have created proper test cases for Mahindra Thar. Have you created or not? Did you miss any or not? I would look. If you missed, I will guide you to create further. If there is something technical, I'll have a technical test lead help you with it. I will not guide you from a technical standpoint. I will only guide you if you are following the Scrum framework or the Scrum guide, policies, processes written in it, in order to ensure that Mahindra Thar is tested in all the test scenarios that you created. That's it. That is the difference.
So Scrum Master will review the test scenarios.
Scrum Master will not review the test scenarios. He will review along with a test lead. Because if there is anything, as I said, Scrum Master need not be technical, right? So there is something called as checklist, testing checklist. So along with a technical lead, Scrum Master will check those test scenarios if the team has followed this process or not.
Okay.
To answer your question, yes, he will review it. 2, he will take the help or assistance of a technical person. Because even for Mahindra Thar, there is a manager who reviews the entire progress of the product, right? He might not know the in-depth technical details of each aspect or functionality. He only knows that Mahindra Thar has to be complete. He might have a technical person who will guide him. That steering rack is this way, we have hydraulic steering or we have electronic steering or power steering, whatever it is. He will check if the functionality is working or not. He will take the assistance of technical lead there. That's it. That's how they progress further. Any other questions?
Yeah. What is the advantage if test manager become a Scrum Master?
Perfect. So as a test manager who becomes a Scrum Master, you would obviously know how team is functioning, right? So it becomes easy for a test manager to take Scrum process and framework in a better perspective or in a better direction from the test team. He would understand how testing team is involving, what kind of process they're following. If there are areas of improvement, you as a Scrum Master can guide the team from that using your own technical experience and expertise and guide the team to success. Any technical person can also become not only testing, even a Java developer can become a Scrum Master, but he will use his Java experience and guide the team better or further. Whereas a person like me, who doesn't have technical experience, would take the assistance of a technical architect or a technical expert and ensure team is following everything in the correct process or procedure. That's the only difference. There is always an advantage of a technical person transitioning into Scrum. There is always an advantage to it.
Okay. All right.
Hello, sir. I have a question. Rahul here.
Yeah, Rahul?
Whenever I see the JD of a BA role, okay, no two BA roles have the same JD. It's so different. Some people are asking SAP. Some people are like in startups, they have JavaScript full technical.
Right.
After that, some people from a different domain, some different certification. Highly confusing. After a BA, we can become Scrum Masters, like generally in the industry.
Absolutely, you can. See, I have people who were HR recruiters, they become Scrum Masters. I have people who were into real estate industry or become Scrum Masters. If they can become, why can't a person in IT?
So
From
here in this training, which domain you are touching on?
See, I'll give you an overview of 3 to 4 domains, like whatever I've told you. One domain is banking. I'll give you overview of banking domain, how it works, what are the features in banking domain. Then telecom domain, what are the features, how telecom domain works. Then healthcare industry or insurance. These are the domains that I would touch base because I worked on these domains, and predominantly in the IT sector, these are the only domains that people work
Which
on.
one has the maximum demand right now? That's only.
See, today, I would never go by demand, okay? Because today you might work as a Scrum Master for banking domain. The project is only for 3 months. You're removed from there, you're put on bench. There is another Scrum Master position with telecom domain or automotive domain. You have to learn that domain once you become once you get into that project. So there is nothing as in demand or anything. But again, if you really narrow down and see, banking domain is something that's in demand. Banking and telecom.
As far as interview is concerned, they will be grilling on the domain, right?
They won't.
They won't.
They won't ask you 100% questions. Only 20-30% they'll ask you. That's it. They won't ask you 100% questions on domain, in-depth domain knowledge. They won't.
Okay.
Because I myself have taken interviews for Scrum Master. I've taken interviews for candidates. I've never drilled much on domain part.
So is it a scenario-based interview or something like?
Exactly. Everything is scenario-based.
I can offer the best communication skills if that is the prerequisite. Apart from that, which is like must have for this line of work.
See, apart from communication, Rahul, during the course of training, you would understand how tools work real time. Okay. There are tools like Jira and Confluence. The gentleman from the institute, he'll give you access to those tools. I'll give you assignments. You'll practice those assignments. So you would know how those tools are worked upon in real time scenario.
And also, is the daily work based on writing user stories and things like that?
I'll explain all that. Okay. See,
Okay.
We follow a step-by-step course curriculum. So let us go by that course curriculum. And you talk about user stories. Yes, I'll explain you how user stories are written. What is it? Templates for user stories, how they're driven, and who really writes user stories. When that day comes for training, it would be explained in detail, in depth about it. Okay. For the moment, all you need to know is the training is for a set period of time. You would be given resume assistance. You would be given domain knowledge. I'll be explaining on 1 to 2 projects. I'll explain on real-time scenarios, examples. How do you, encounter it? That is what your major question was, that you have communication skills, but how do I connect the dots? I'll guide on connecting the dots. Interview preparation also I'll help. Then extensive material and interview question answers, everything would be shared. I think even for the details, Kalyan from the team would help you with it. We'll guide you towards success. We will not leave you in between.
Sir, approx duration, please tell.
That Kalyan, can you take it forward on the duration? I think people really want to know the duration.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. I already shared the course curriculum and our contact details as well in the chat box. If you are having any other doubts, please feel free to contact us.
I think, yeah, I did see a PDF document. So people maybe scroll up into your chat window, download the PDF document, view it. You have the course curriculum there. What all is going to be taught across and duration of the course. Can look into it. Apart from that, if any other questions, feel free. I'm there available.
Hey, hi. This is Abdul from Hyderabad. I'm sorry for writing in there. Yeah, I just had a really quick question. Although the entire explanation and everything was pretty clean, and I think you maintained the transparency in the extent that things directly went into my mind, and I'm able to understand what exactly SM is all about and CSM is all about. What I'm trying to do here is, for my own selfish sake, I'm trying to fit this into my career profile. I'm coming from an MBA background with supply chain management as my core,
Okay.
expertise. And following the same educational pattern, I also got hired by Amazon, wherein I served there for nearly 7.5 years as in the supply chain core altogether, logistics and supply chain. And that's where I got my promotion and everything else. Post which I got too much magnified towards AI while I was working with Amazon. And in order to get AI certified, I'm kind of like that. I'm quite crazy when it comes to technology. Although I'm not at all a tech geek. I don't know software. I don't know any of these things. But काम आसानी से होने वाली चीजें अगर आए तो I'll just go and grab those things and I'll be too much into it. Yeah. So I got AI certification right after leaving Amazon. 6 months of education and examination. I got the certification. Right now I'm serving as a freelancer to the US clients. So my entire past looks like a clown type circus because MBA, supply chain, core job, and then something else which is totally out of the way. And now I'm into this course. So what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to understand is like, how would I fit this particular thing into my stream, and what kind of industry should I look into for get ahead for to serve with Scrum Master? Yeah,
I totally understand. I'll give you a simple example of my own career. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you decide if yours is that so-called the term that you use, clown career or whatever. I would not take that into perspective. Okay.
Sure.
I started my career as a call center executive.
Okay.
Support. I moved to something called as ITIL. That's into IT. Then I moved into service desk.
Okay.
Service desk is nothing but again call center for internal employees itself.
Yes.
Then I moved into again back into ITIL. Then I moved into staffing and operations. People might have heard about something called as resource management in the IT industry. That was the resource management part. Then I moved into background verification part.
Okay.
For a company, I worked as I was the manager for background, handling the entire India division of background screens. Any employee joins that organization, there's a background check that happens, and I take the final call if the employee has to be a green report should be issued or a red report, or if the employee has to join the organization or not. It is my decision. So I was looking at the background verification part. Then I had a 4-year career gap. Okay.
Okay.
Talk about all crazy scenarios. I have it. I've dealt with it. Then after that, I got into HR process, staffing, recruitment for US and domestic clients.
Okay.
Then somehow, luckily, I got into Scrum and project management.
Okay.
Because of my previous experience, some good people felt this guy needs a break. He has the skills. So, can anyone's career go as crazy as this?
This is very crazy.
So, I'm successful. I'm a Scrum Master. I'm training people. So,
awesome.
You got your own answer, right?
Yeah, clean enough.
Perfect. Again, with your AI certification, with the career progressing, everyone, you can always say that, I have additional skill set of AI. I can definitely use that skill set for the betterment of Scrum or whatever it is. These are all fancy jargons. At the end of the day, you may not use it, but these can be a selling point for you to crack an interview. That's it.
Yes, correct.
Once you are internal, it's on your career progression. You can become a AI ML project manager or whatever you want. You can move in, or you can move into hardcore AI ML. And again, another very important question: what education should one have to become a Scrum Master? Okay, this is a very important question. A lot of trainers have misguided people. A lot of people felt a Scrum Master should have an MBA. If they have BTech, or if they have BSc computers, or if they have BCA, they cannot become Scrum Masters. That is bullshit. Upfront bullshit. Sorry to use the word, but I have to use it. Because I've heard a lot of trainers brainwash their students telling that, all Scrum Master trainers, Agile coaches telling that because you did not have an MBA, you are not getting a Scrum Master job. That is what they've told people. I've had those kind of people come to me and ask. Education never plays a role for you to transition to a Scrum Master. I've had people with hospitality management, someone from pharma industry, someone from real estate. Then I have my own brother. He is a chartered accountant. right now working as the IT head for a huge pharma organization. These people can become successful, then so can anyone else can become successful. It depends on the right tools, right process, right knowledge, right attitude and effort to put in to become successful. That's it, nothing more. So any other questions before we can wrap it up?
Yes, hi sir. This is Karthik. Karthik
Yeah.
here. Just I wanted to know what will be the package for the freshers?
I was waiting. Why was this question not asked? See, simple funda, I'll put it. You do the math. Okay.
Yep.
2 lakh into number of years of experience. This number of years of experience is irrespective of how many years you're putting. Example, your total years of experience is 10 years. And in that you have 3 years as Scrum Master, calculated for 10 years. That's it. That's your simple funda. And industry standard right now is 35 to 45% hike. And certain organizations, you can demand a joining bonus plus relocation benefit. This relocation benefit sounds for
like around
domestic and international. This is how the market is right now. 35 to 45% definite hike you can gain. Don't go by, certain people would, I'll get you 100% hike right from 5 lakh package to 18 lakh, 20 lakh, 25 lakh package I can get you done. Don't believe those individuals.
So then how was yours, sir? I mean, like, if you don't mind.
Pardon?
I mean, like, what was yours? I mean, like, for the freshers initially, at what package you have gone through that?
See, Scrum Master fresher doesn't start as a fresher. A fresh out of beta graduate cannot become a Scrum Master in the industry. Point blank.
Yeah, that was my point. I mean, like, it needs some sort of expertise
see,
to get into
people. I'll give you aggregate examples, not specific examples. Okay, I've had what do you call? I think Kalyan will explain the other part of how you can gain experience and all that. I'll not delve into it. For example, let's say a person with 8 years of experience as a recruiter. I have to open my calculator. I'm bad at math. He made around 40,000 per month. 40,000 into 12 is around 4,80,000. Okay. Or make it 6 lakh because that's all recruiters get. They get paid less. 6 LPA. Okay. Is what he made. He transitioned his career with 5.5 years. Then the rest 2.5 years as Scrum for a junior Scrum Master role. Okay. So, you go by, there are two things for you to look in. You go by industry standard of 35% into 35 plus the package. There's 6 gives you 8 lakhs package. Okay. However, if you are smart enough, and I would recommend people to start bargaining from 10 to 15 lakhs itself here. And that is what this guy did. He closed the offer at 12 lakh package. So that's almost 100% hike. Okay. There's something called as industry salary standardization. I'm sorry, I'm unable to put in the spelling, but hope you get the essence. Salary standardization. So what they do is similar experienced people in the organization, how much are they getting? They will also match the salary compensation to that. That is what happens.
No, sir. Just I wanted to ask. I mean, like, how come you're on a training basis? If it is so on that packages, why you're on this platform right now? I mean, like, for the counseling and the training.
Kalyan, you want me to answer him? See, I am working as a senior Scrum Master for an organization, and I'm also doing this. Okay. If that's your specific question, that's the answer to it. I am working. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind this, I mean, like,
I'm working real time. I'm working for a US client.
Okay.
And I'm handling 6 Scrum teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning. I mean, like for the first session, you might be doing something like.
So to answer your question extremely specifically or explicitly, that's the answer for it.
Okay. Well, sir, no issues for that. I mean, like if I'm going to too deep into that, then
yeah.
So
anyone can become. We have had housewives with 13 years of gap. We got it trained.
they can, but mainly it needs a lot of expertise, right? So I mean, to handle a team and
I'll tell you that. See again,
the main point was that I mean, like I'm from.
I'll answer that. See, typically for Scrum Master, what happens is when you join an organization, it takes 15 to 20 days of time for you to start working as a Scrum Master. You don't right from day one, you don't work. Exactly. Any other industry, even as a Java programmer or Shiva asked as a test analyst, they might put you in the project in the second or the third day. But for a Scrum Master, it takes minimum 15-20 days time. The reason is Scrum Master has to talk with certain leadership team. Scrum Master has to talk to project manager to understand what his team is, what is the composition, who is the smart ass, who is the weak link, who is the hardworking guy. Then Scrum Master has to talk to the client to understand what his expectations is.
The clients, yes, sir. That's the only.
Scrum Master has to understand what domain it is. He might not have worked on the domain. It might be automotive domain. He has to understand what the domain is. What is the workflow? What is the technology?
Allowed to talk to the clients? I mean, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Yeah. Like, does the organization allow to talk to the clients for such? I mean, like candidates, like the newcomers, non-IT backgrounds.
Yes. No one knows you are from non-IT, right? That is where, when it comes to resume transitioning and helping, we'll talk about.
If I would have got the organizations, I would have at least I need a proper expertise in it and well consumed the certified programmers or the Scrum Masters for that.
That knowledge will, see,
yes, sir.
Yeah, hold on for a minute. That knowledge, that scenarios, that examples, when I train you on Scrum Master, you will get it. Then I'll specifically talk about what will be asked in interview questions, what would you do in real time, with scenarios, with real-time examples, with real-time project examples and the domains like banking, BFSI, healthcare, HLS, and the other domain, telecom domain. I'll give you examples. And also the most important part, if you give me a minute, I'll tell you, as I said, it'll take 15 to 20 days time. They will give you training on tools. They'll give you training on processes. They will give you training on the team size, what is the client, what is his expectations. You have interaction with client, you would be portrayed as a Scrum Master, you would not be portrayed as fresher. So you will have your own expectations set by the client, by leadership team, stating this is the client, this is the project, this is the team. You have to take care. So everything, by the time you understand, you will attend all meetings as a Scrum Master only as an observant. You will only observe and listen to them for at least 1 to 2 weeks. You would not participate in anything. So this is the time where you can scale up and you can learn and you can observe how people are talking. This aspect, when we get to the stage of interview preparation, I will give another in-depth 1.5 to 2 hour session on how you can progress further.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you do not have to panic. When I joined as a Scrum Master, I portrayed I was a Scrum Master, but luckily I got the opportunity. I really did not understand what was happening. My director was kind enough. My reporting manager was a director of the organization. He was kind enough. He made me listen and observe for 1 month, 1.5 months. Then only he gave me the responsibilities.
Yeah, that's the one that was my.
Even you do not have 1 month comfort zone, that 15-20 days time is fair enough. Simple aspect, copy paste. What do we do as individuals in the market? We observe people. See, so social skills, what is all about social skills? You attend a social event, you observe how people are talking, you catch the positives in it, you try to replicate it, right? That is what you do when you attend communication camps, when you see a communication coach. How is he talking? What is the confidence level? How is his hand movement? How is he walking? How is his body posture? You observe those and replicate it. The same thing happens here. Nothing different.
So that thing, I think I need another one session for that. I mean, like for the real time screening and all stuff.
And see, not only you, everyone who is going to be part of this training curriculum or program will have that. Okay. They will all have it.
Great, sir. Yep.
I have one question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So here we would be the certification that we would give with this course would be CSM certification or PSM.
Not PSM.
CSM, Certified Scrum Master.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Yeah, no worries. See, the reason I recommend people with CSM is because you're starting your career as a Scrum Master. The moment you put PSM on your resume, it talks that you are professional Scrum Master, means you already have experience on it and you've already worked as a Scrum Master. There would be a chance or an opportunity for the interview panel to ask you questions at that level. That's the reason we do not do PSM. PSM is for experienced people. CSM is for freshers who have basic knowledge. Hope that answers your question in detail.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Hi, sir.
Yep.
Actually, I have 2.5 years of experience in testing. And at this time, I want to switch to Scrum Master. As you are saying, having 5 or 6 years of experience will be good. But if you are technically strong with these experience, is it okay or how it goes on?
So, is your overall experience 2.5 years?
Yes.
Okay. Kalyan, can you, what's your name?
Priya.
So, Kalyan, connect Priya with me to morning.
Sure, sir. After the session, I will arrange a con call with her.
Do it tomorrow because I have other calls to take.
Sure, sir. Sure, definitely, sir. By tomorrow, first hour, I will arrange a call with her.
So, Priya, you speak Telugu, right?
Yes.
Okay. నేను మీకు సెపరేట్ గా కాల్ తీసుకుని మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తానండి హౌ అండ్ వాట్ యూ కెన్ డూ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ లిటిల్ బిట్ ఆఫ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ ఫర్ యూ నాట్ immediately you might switch from testing to Scrum. It will take a little bit amount of time, maybe 6 months, 8 months, but I'll guide you on how you can do that. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one last question. So my current experience is I have over 5 years of experience in project management. And currently I am managing mostly research projects in a startup company, healthcare sector, medical devices. And now, there are many other health tech medical devices company who need project manager for their IT projects. So they say that you should have basic understanding of agile framework, and we have Scrum Master, but then you have to basically manage and coordinate 3 or 4 Scrum Masters for one product owner.
Right.
Therefore, I thought that it's like my reason for taking this is that if I'm more familiar with this, and I can also it's easy for me to work with what they are working with.
Absolutely. See, as a project manager, you only look into projects and resources part. But if you look into the IT industry, forget project managers, even developers, testers, everyone, the main prerequisite requirement is that they have to be adapt with agile methodology in the Scrum framework and certain aspects of Scrum framework. Everyone has to be adapt with it because everyone are using it in a day in and day out basis. So in that aspect, if you have to work with Scrum Masters and product owner and all, having an understanding, in-depth understanding of what Scrum is all about would definitely be an advantage to your current career progression. It would be an edge, I would say, a positive edge towards it, which also will help you understand how Scrum Masters are functioning, how you can help a Scrum Master become successful as well from a project management or from a project manager perspective.
Yes, and then next question is when they say that there's also something called as Safe 6 certification, then when does this comes into role? Like how?
Yeah, I'll answer this. See, this for the next, if you're transitioning to a Scrum role, this is for everyone, not only Yash. So anyone who wants to transition to a Scrum for the next 1 to 2 years or 3 years, I would recommend them to focus on Scrum Master role. Here, when we spoke about Scrum, we spoke about 1 to 2 Scrum teams or a specific project. That is what Scrum Master focuses on, 1 or 2 projects or 2 or 3 teams. Safe is nothing but it is at the next level targeting the organizational standard. Like as an organization like Wipro Technologies or Infosys, Safe would target the entire organization to be transitioned to agile methodologies. Whereas Scrum, if you take say Wipro or Infosys as an organization, you would have thousands of teams, thousands of projects. You would only implement this, Scrum or agile methodologies to 2 or 3 teams. That is where Scrum comes up. So Safe is at a larger organizational enterprise level where you transition the process towards agile or Scrum framework. That is where you use Safe. Safe Agilist, SAFE, which one is called as. And these certifications, you don't have to worry about it right now. You can look at it at a larger perspective or down the road of another 1 or 2 years. The kind of career progression that you're looking at, I would recommend you to look at it after 2 years. That is when it will be helpful for you. But that's a basic understanding of what Safe is and when people use Safe. It's for the entire organizational standard when you want to transition. That's when you use Safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's about it. No other questions. Then I think everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your night. Do whatever you want to do. And let's all connect back again when we start the actual training program. Okay. Thank you all. Bye.